Hi, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the AUSNZ Community Podcast. Cracker of an episode ahead tonight with original Pit Crew member and Fingersoft GP original, Velky, or Velkyrin, to join us for a chat. We will welcome her a little bit later on. But first, as always, welcome to our panel of hosts, Eva, Pete, and Alpha. And of course, mate Pop Bro, which is he's hiding around the corner somewhere. Welcome, lads. How has everybody been?
Yeah, good. How have you been, GCR?
All is well, mate. All is well. Just the kids have been a bit sick during the week and everything, but apart from a couple of little minor mishaps, everything's all good.
Excellent.
And welcome, Eve. Hey, mate. How's things?
Oh, well, you could hear it in my voice a little. Bit nasally today. I did a rat test this morning. No, it's not a rat test, it's just a rat. And
you tested a rat?
I tested a rat. I don't have COVID, but I got a bit nasally and a bit of a cough. So there'll be lots of little dropouts through the night as I cough into my sleeve because I don't want to give COVID to myself, which I don't have, which is great. But it's negative result, which is positive. Funny about that.
That's good to hear.
What about you, Alpha?
Yeah, I haven't been too bad. Nothing really eventful in the past few weeks since the last podcast.
Have you finished cricket for the year?
Yes, we have. We lost in a nail-biting semi.
Ah, spewing.
Unlucky, mate. Get them next season. Anyway, okay, so Eve, yeah, so you've been a bit crook. My kids have been a bit crook. It's probably going around at the moment, so, but I mean, it's not just COVID, it's obviously just, the cold or something like that.
Yeah,
so
flu season.
Yeah, flu season, pretty much, exactly right. So everybody's kind of forgotten about the flu season, haven't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't get sick.
Yeah, we know. We assume that you don't get sick, mate, bro, but thanks for chiming in there.
So maybe instead of zeros and ones, he's ones and zeros. That's what makes him sick.
Yes, that's right. The odd decimal point here and there as well.
Oh, those rounding decimals, you got to be wary of them.
Yeah. All right, so let's get stuck into some news. All right, so some news around the community. Last night, Team China deleted from CC. No details and no bans yet confirmed, but they have been deleted. Their team's been deleted as far as I know. So that's the most recent activity from Fingersoft. Some other news, Ryan and I Am Groot. So Ryan from the New Order and I Am Groot, I think is from Alpha. Is he from Discord or the New Order?
I am Groot and he's from Discord.
He's from Discord? Okay, so I Am Groot from Discord and Ryan from the New Order. Both players' accounts have been restored and their names cleared. Ryan has agreed to come on and talk to us in the future and will be part of our podcast at a later date. His both accounts have been restored, and I think I Am Groot, I'm not sure how many accounts he had, but I think his main account has definitely been restored and their names have been cleared.
That must be a very big relief.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a real rare occurrence as well. So congratulations to those players for clearing their names. They presented Fingersoft with some hard evidence that they weren't violating the EULA, have come out on the other side as all clean, and yeah, so their accounts have been restored. So, I mean...
So were they banned and they got restored, or was it just been flagged?
No, it was a permanent ban for both players. Basically, they presented Fingersoft with some evidence and they have been cleared.
I've never actually heard of anyone being restored from being permanently banned.
I was just about to say the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, so there was one other player. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was another player that had a similar situation about, I'd say, a year ago, and his account was restored as well. I think for the same reason.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I mean, look, if you're a legitimate player and you're not, breaking any violations or rules or anything, and you've got the evidence to back you up, it's good that Fingersoft did the right thing and restore people's accounts if it happens. But I mean, there's cases obviously that it doesn't happen quite often, and I'm guessing those people can't back up their bans with evidence, and they remain banned, I guess.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So I was flagged the other week when we did our last podcast. I was flagged for about 2 days, and I emailed Fingersoft and got them to look into my account, and I was cleared. So, I mean, if you're a legitimate player, you've got nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. Sometimes flags happen. I know a few of the Fair Play mods, their accounts have been flagged. Even Pit Crew have been flagged. But obviously, they're legit players and they will get cleared. So, which is a good thing that Fingersoft recognise that some errors do happen. Moving on to some other news, AUSNZ have created a fourth team, an official Team 4, welcoming in Big Sing and the Hooligans crew into the team. So
Hoonigan.
yeah, Hoonigans Rejects have merged together to create Team 4. So the most active and the best players from each teams have created Team 4 and are well on their way to probably competing it with Division 1, I guess. Congratulations to everybody involved there. I know Larry's been working hard behind the scenes, and so has Big Sing. So, but we welcome Big Sing to the community. So welcome, mate, and good luck with everything. So I think he listens in occasionally. So big shout out to Big Sing. Okay, so yeah, apart from that, I think we've got all the news here. Does anybody have some news they want to share, or anything that I've missed, or Alpha, Eva? No other news.
Nothing from me, no.
Okay, no worries. Alrighty, Pete, do you want to, let's get into some team events and some public events. I know team events haven't been really that exciting as of recent, so let's go through those horrid couple of team events that have just gone past.
Well, we'll start off with the public events. Last week's one was Newton's Law, which was a soccer ball long kick. That one was pretty fun. I didn't mind that one. The strategy was to have your rally car with jump shocks, thrusters, and air control, and you just sort of like jump in the air before the start line and then slam down onto it and pinch it with the boot or the back of the car. So you flip over and hit your head on it, and it sends it flying. If you do it right, you can get around 15 to 18, depending on the track. But it usually took me about almost to 30 seconds left out of the 2 minutes to get it actually right.
I think there was a player who got 1,900 meters.
Jeez. Do you know what track it was?
I do not.
I know there was a lot of people getting pretty good distance on track 6. But I'll
Let
do
me
that one.
see.
Yeah, track 4 also got a lot of good distance as well. I know because it was a short run up to the flags and to the ramp. So I think track 4 was pretty good.
Track 4, 1,938 was the current world record.
Not bad. So I was going to do something a little different on this one. I was going to try and work out the pop culture reference of the name of it. So Newton's Law is Newton's Law of Motion, and I assume that is everything to do with the soccer ball. If you kick it forwards, it goes forwards and then slows down. Makes sense?
Newton's law is an object will continue to go in its path until acted upon by another force.
Which would be an uphill slope.
Our cars hitting it was the force, and then it would obviously go in the other direction.
Yep.
And then the acted upon by another force would be the uphill slope.
Yep, and that'll stop it.
Stop it immediately.
I had a lot of fun with that event. Everybody was doing the rally car flip, and it was lots of fun. So I think I went over by about 100 or so points.
Yeah, same on both accounts, actually. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good event.
Way better than the current one we've got now. The sky is lava.
There's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is it's just 5 repetitive tracks.
Yeah,
Some new
I
ones.
don't know why. I just don't like driving on the ground. I prefer to drive in the air.
I managed to do most of it with the F1 car.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's one particular track I remember it from a team event, and that's the magnet one. Like magnets,
Yep.
how do they work or something like that. Yeah. I remember that one, and that one pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. The soccer event was definitely a lot better than the current event, that's for sure. But I haven't really. I don't even know if I've got 100 points yet in this public event yet.
I sat down just today and spent an hour and did the public event. Oh, it was less than an hour, I think.
I'm sitting on 28 points at the minute.
Yeah, time to grind, mate. Got a couple of days. Okay, yeah. Anyway, go on, Pete.
So team events, they haven't been that great. Let's be honest. There've been a lot of luck reliant tracks that haven't been enjoyable. The track one for the current team event, Deja Vu Drive, with the super bike and the trailer, I've managed to 10k at once, but every other time it's been around 4 to 6k. I just can't get a consistent time on it.
Yeah,
It's all about how you hit that first jump after the first set of logs.
Yeah.
You can either lose all cans or 5 cans. And if you only lose 5 cans, you've basically got 10k.
If I don't lose them there, I'll lose them right at the end.
yeah. On that little dip bit, a little hill bit before the finish line.
Yeah, I lose them regardless. I've only managed to do it once. Every other time it's been a fail.
So I think Fingerwoods is being used for like almost every type of time attack. It's been used for a stay on the ground, which we had to do with Supercar. It's been used for normal time trials. And I think it might have been used for a flip time attack too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fingerwoods is quite popular, isn't it?
Because it's a very bumpy track and everyone hates it. Which is why it's the best choice for team events, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great for team events, but pretty good for cups though.
Yeah.
Um,
Track 3, the new event. Not new event, the new track time trial. I've actually been enjoying that one. I've been using the supercar. Most people have been using the formula, but I use the formula for the multi-jump because I just can't kangaroo the Mark II.
That's track 2, the new time attack one.
Oh, is it?
Track 3 is the multi-jump.
Yep, well, I got them mixed up. That's how much I've been enjoying them.
yeah, the multi-jump, I've also been using the F1 as well. Downforce to 1 and suspension to 16. I think I had a little level 16. So
I've been leaving it max. Maybe.
well, if you drop the suspension a little bit, you get a bit more bounce. So
Yeah.
that's why I've got it at 16. But yeah, I've 10k'd that a few times, but have produced poorly on the other stages, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I do multi-jump with Mark II with level 5 landing boost. It is not fun.
I could imagine it would be fun.
That's pretty good effort, Alpha. What scores have you been producing on level 5 landing boost?
I've got 8k once. I think this
It's already better than me.
the distance I got for my 31k, which I currently have, is about 40, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
40?
Yeah, 440 meters.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, 40. Sorry,
that's
you cut
possible.
out with the 4.
Oh yeah, well, just got a message from our community friend Mad Max saying that suspension to 10. Yeah, you can go a little bit. You can drop it a little bit more, but I found 16 a bit more consistent. Yeah. No, anyway, go on, Pete.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about with the team events because they've just been not enjoyable.
Yeah, look, I was going to have a little bit of a rant later on, but look,
Go for it
yeah,
now.
the last couple of team events have been quite disappointing, just from a creation point of view. I can't remember who Reese said was in charge of the team event creation. I think he said was Andy. I think, if my memory jogs me right.
There's one person does the lot.
Yeah, I know Reese said he comes up with the name, the creation of the name of the actual event, but the actual creation of the team event in recent weeks has been, to be honest, quite poor, and I'm actually quite disappointed in the work that they've been producing or the team events they've been giving us. I think they need to step up and raise their game. It's been lacking enjoyment. It's not been fun. The scoring has been a pretty difficult, and I think they need to improve in that department. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks will be a vast improvement. Anything you want to say about those ones, guys? Go for it now about the team events. I've just been, like I said, the mods in the Fair Play server are a pretty disappointing message to pass on to Reese and his team about the team events. There's been a lot of feedback and a lot of backlash in the Fingersoft suggestions channel. I've read quite a few things there that I've agreed with, and it's really taken the fun out of the game, and I've been thinking, maybe it's just time to have a rest from the game and come back when the events are a bit better. But
Can I just say,
Yep.
that they are the type of events that, especially in CC division, just show the faults in leagues. Like you'll have a strong Division 1 team that shouldn't really be in CC, like for example AUSNZ 2, which are in CC at the moment.
No, they belong there. They're doing fine.
They'll come up against a strong team who've had a bad run in matches. You get one of those events, that team just gets blown out of the water more than it would be on a decent team event that has high scores.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's one or two freak players that can score well, and then the rest of the team are really struggling, I've found.
I like these challenging team events.
I've been quiet through all of this because I've seen it all on the servers and all that sort of stuff on Discord, and all I'll say is, yeah, they're hard. I'm not going to say they're not easy, but when they're reasonable, and I think there's two facets. The first facet is we want them to be fun. I agree with that. They're not fun, but the level of difficulty, which is making it hard, isn't skill level. It's just fluke.
Yeah, luck.
The landings are more luck than anything else. I mean, there's, if the cans fall out of the back, they upset the motorbike. There's so many things, but making them hard isn't going to detract from me playing the game. Making them not fun will. Like if they're hard, and we've got people on AUSNZ1 that are still getting 36s and 37s. And I look at that and go, oh wow, that's great. I might manage to crack 26, 27 this event. I don't look at that and go, oh, I hate what I'm doing. I know that, kangaroo is my weak point, and it's been something I've been working on for so long. And these events give me the opportunity to basically either make it or break it. I agree that they're not fun, but I don't think the degree of difficulty is the issue. I think it's just the fact that there's 3 kangaroo events, and it makes it just a little bit boring. It's not about the level of difficulty. It's about the fact that it's just boring.
okay. I just want to make myself clear that it's not about the. I'm not struggling with the difficulty part of it, but I am struggling. It's just recent team events have just felt like more of a chore to race the events. It's like I've got to run my tickets now. Like it's not going to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just that. The scoring system recently in the last couple of team events have been quite difficult. Maybe if the scoring was a bit more score friendlier, people would have enjoyed it probably a bit more. So I think the scoring was a bit tough. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I agree. Make it enjoyable. Give us at least 1 or 2 tracks that's an easy 10k, because everyone loves doing a 10k track. It just gives you that.
Not necessarily like an easy 10k,
You know what I mean.
but
Just think of all the teams that are just starting out, and they're just starting off with this. And it's like, this isn't fun. I'm going to quit. Why am I playing this game?
I've just introduced a co-worker that I work with in the real world. I've introduced him to the game. Even he was saying, oh, dude, that looks very difficult. And I'm like, yes, it is very difficult and frustrating too. We're having a good old chat about it. So, but hopefully the next couple of events will be a lot fun and a lot better to play. I know our guest that we're going to bring in very soon wants to say some things on team events, and I could see him typing in the channel now, which will get him in soon. But before we get to that, Alfie, do you have anything to add in your stats segment this week?
Yes, I do. So this week I'm going to talk about how AUSNZ 2 was promoted to CC and what it's like being a Division 1 team with order matchmaking.
Beautiful. Well, I'm in AUSNZ 2, so I would be interested here. I know you are as well, and so is Pete. So I would love to hear this.
Feed me stats.
The second team has been in CC now. We've had a couple of close matches, but then we've had a couple of blowouts as well, which has been an interesting start. This next match at the end of it tonight, which is very soon, I think it's going to end, we'll see us move up a few positions, I think.
Well, sitting 72nd.
Yeah, right. Well, we're 89th before, so that's quite a move.
I'm sourcing all of this from the Nemesis Stats and Data server, which I am a frequent on as a stats person. So the auto matchmaking kind of took a bit of time for us to get where we need to be. We started out with a close loss against French Power 2, and then a couple of blowouts against Portugal and Elite Racing Inc. And then at that point, auto matchmaking had finally decided to give us some good matches. We then got consecutive wins against Russia players and Saviors, then got absolutely flogged by N and Friends and Discord 2, and then a relatively close match against a higher Division 1 team in Kazakhstan, and then a embarrassing 4K win against the abandoned team Equator.
Which has just completed now, I think, so
Yes.
We'll have to log on to see who we've gotten next. But what are your thoughts, Alpha, in regards to the auto matchmaking for Team 2? Like, does the system recognise Team 2 as Team 2, or does it still think that Team 1 is Team 2, if you get what I mean?
No, it recognises Team 2 as Team 2, but I think the system, like, what it really does is recognise Team 2 instead of being, oh, this is the second team of AUSNZ. It's saying, this team has had 3 wins and 6 losses. We're going to match it up against a team with that same skill set, which sometimes works if you've got teams that have had the same luck as you. But say you've got a team like Discord 2 who've got a bad luck rating, you'll match up against Division 1 team will match up against them and then get pretty much destroyed.
Yeah.
The name change hasn't really confused the matchmaking system. It's just confused the people looking at the ladder.
Yeah, for everybody out there, obviously that was a little practical joke we're playing on the community. Some people found it quite funny, some others didn't, but I found it quite funny, to be honest. I had a few DMs messaging me saying, are you guys Team 1 now, or are you Team 2? And I'm like, no, we're still Team 2. We're just playing a bit of a joke on the community, and it worked. Got a few people talking.
That's good.
I had a little chuckle myself.
Yeah, the reason why we changed it also, not just to play a little funny prank on the community, but at the time, Team 2 was actually ranked higher than Team 1, so, I mean, just makes sense to change the name.
Absolutely, you got to have the top team at the top.
Which, by the way, we should go back to our name Team 2 now, because I don't think we're above Team 1 anymore.
No, we're not. Team 1 is sitting at 60th, so they're inching closer to the bubble.
No, fair enough. Alpha, I've got a question for you too. As Protect retired from HCR2, has that been confirmed, or is he just retiring for a couple of days and he's back again?
What I've been seeing is that he's not actually retiring fully.
Just having a break.
Yes.
He's basically created his own Division 7 team and says something about concentrating on real life now, or something like that, do you say?
That's basically what he's done.
Yeah, okay.
He made a world record on Spook On, Spook Off with the name Goodbye HCR2, and then today I've just gone to his profile. If I'm reading his name right, which I'm sure I am, his current name is Maybe World Record, so it kind of says that he is still playing the game.
He's probably just taken a rest from team events, isn't he? Because, kind of like the rest of us, he's a bit sick and tired of the recent team events, maybe.
That team's still playing down in Division 5.
Maybe just doesn't want to play competitively much anymore, just wants to have a little break. Eva, what do you got for us this week, mate?
Okay, so someone suggested, and I say someone, it was you, I look at a video.
You're welcome. No worries.
I watched a video, and it was a YouTube video by Mr. HCR2, who explores the difference between maximum main parts or maximum modifications, which is, the engine, the turbo, the grip, suspension, versus maximum parts, additional parts. So, with every car or vehicle you have in HCR2, you can increase the engine, the turbo, the grip, the brain on some of them, suspension on others, the exhaust or rotation ability, the motocross and the mono. So those four main parts, do you need to max them? And if you had low main parts and you had high equipped parts, what would be better?
So you're talking about the difference between tunes and parts in regards to low or high, and you can
pretty much.
Yeah.
So if you've got a high tune with low parts, or you've got a low tune with high parts, what's the difference? Which one's better? Now, we're going to link the video because it's a pretty cool video. The majority of it is low tune, high parts will trump high tune, low parts, which is what you expect. The one thing I'll add to that, and I've done this with my alt account, is that my tunes have not gone past 17. I don't have any of the hats on my alt. I haven't done all the tunes all the way to 20. And in doing that, I've probably saved a couple of million coins. So a couple of million coins that I've saved on that, there's probably more than that. I will get someone to check out what that is. I'll do it on the spreadsheet one day. But
what have you stopped at? Have you stopped at like 16?
17 across the board. There are a couple of exceptions, of course. The brain on the Moonlander has gone to 20, and the thrusters on the Moonlander have gone to 20, because without that you can't separate the capsule. And then there's a couple of other little things that I've done along the way, but majority of them at 17. And like everything, like even the current tune for the current event, which is about to finish, with the motorbike, people are saying lower the tune on the car, lower the parts tune as well. And I keep going back to the same thing. HCR2 says to us, hey, buy all these parts, do all these upgrades, and then we find out that we'll go faster if we don't have the upgrades maxed. I just keep asking myself the same question: why are we doing the upgrades?
Yep.
Most of what I'm trying to get across is watch the video. It's a pretty cool video, but over and above that, you don't really need to go max on your tunes, but it's best to go max on your parts.
I totally agree with everything you're saying there. Always tell new racers not to max out your tunes straight away, because there's not much difference between the higher levels in regards to level 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Now,
if you watch, Vershak or IO, and even a couple of other guys who do the videos, and they're doing videos from their Chinese games, so they get them earlier.
their Chinese account, yeah.
The Chinese account. They're all running 16s and 17s anyway.
That's right, and their parts are higher as well. So, yep, was fascinated by that video. While you were talking before, I was just trying to credit our friend who made the video, but I couldn't remember his name. But
HCR2.
That's his name, is it?
Yep, Mr. HCR2. That was the link in the video you sent me.
Mr. HCR2. All right, very good. I don't think he listens to our podcast, but just in case he does, a shout out to him. It was a good video that he created, which we will put in the team description and the links down the bottom. It was very interesting because whenever he ran the tunes, it was a lot quicker than when he had the parts, but he had really bad tunes, and it didn't marry. If you know what I'm saying, they didn't marry up.
Yep.
So, I found it very interesting. Actually, it just goes to show that a good balance between your tunes and your parts is pretty much all you need.
And that's one of the things that I've done with the alt. I've kept everything down to 17. Like I said, a couple have gone up. I've concentrated on the parts that are needed for team events, all of that sort of stuff. So, the number that I'm at, like 7,900 now, it's a strong account, not because of the tunes, but because of the parts.
Yep.
And there's a lot of parts that haven't even been touched.
I'm just over 8k GP on my main account, and I still haven't maxed out tunes on the racing truck, supercar, and my hot rod.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, because there's no need at the moment, because I'm not really competitive in regards to, like daily competitions and things like that. But I suppose when I have some free coins later on and I'm doing a team event or something like that, I may do it.
It's interesting you mention the daily comp, because the last daily comp that we did, I was having a bit of fun with my alt account. I was running back to back. I'd only run 10 gems. I'd only run the 10 free runs, but I would do it after I've done, I'd done 20 or 30 runs. On my main account, I'd use my alt account with the same tune, with the same setup, but with a lower tune, but with max parts. And the differences in some of those runs was less than 0.5.
Yes. Yep.
Across, a longer one, and less than 0.2 across a shorter one. And on one of the tracks, it was with a tank. On one of the tracks, my alt account beat my main account.
There you go. And your main account is maxed.
Yeah, my main account is maxed, and the alt account was at 17s. Obviously, fuel on the tank is at 20 because you need longer fuel for some of the longer no fuel events. Yeah, the tank. I mean, it was a series of lucky bounces. The good old lucky bounces. I managed to get the same 3 lucky bounces across both tanks, and my alt come through, and we're talking about 0.1 faster. So they literally went across the line with the tip of the tank sticking forward, and you could easily say, "Oh, that was the paint color." That was the.
It's just a feather on the outside of the tank that got me across the line.
Yeah, pretty much. And then before I forget, DeBell, who I used to play with him on LTR. My alt has moved accounts, has moved teams. I'm now with TNT, which is with Tessa Cat and
Cthulhu. We had the guest
and sorry, I was trying to remember how to pronounce the name before I said it. And Cole and a few other people as well. So big shout out to all the people on TNT. Thanks for welcoming me along, and just having a bit of fun with them, and catching up with some people that I haven't spoken to in probably 18 months.
What does TNT stand for? Is it like dynamite or?
I have no idea. I will ask the question of Tessa and find out for you. Before I get this sidetracked, DeBell sent me a screenshot of his new record. It was a world record. It stood for a day. It was in the mines, the mines adventure track, using his favourite vehicle, which is the Moonlander. He managed to beat GL Fly by a couple of 100 meters, or just under a couple of 100 meters, 8,188. And he said that there was a fuel can at 7,000, just before 7,077 meters, which was very hard to get to. And if you got that, you'd manage to get to a bit more. So he managed to get it, got 8,188, and then overnight, GL Fly come back and smashed it by 500 meters and got 8,600. So big shout out to DeBell. He's a cool kid who's aiming hard to get some records. He's one of the highest starred in Australia, and pretty high up there. I think he's in the top 100 in the world. So collecting all his stars for adventure. Great work, mate.
He's
And with a low GP too. Well, not low, but about a mid-range GP.
Yeah, he's in the 6,500, 7,000, somewhere like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm better at adventure than DeBell.
mate, bro, mate. So you got to show us some records to prove about that if you going to get cocky there. But thanks for that. Yeah, big shout out to DeBell. He's what a champion guy he is. If I was to have any inspiration in regards to getting my Canyoneer, it would come from him. and Trekkie as well. I think Trekkie is not far behind Bell on the leaderboard. We'll have to get an update on that. Eva, you mentioned tanks before. We have a special guest in waiting who is a bit of an expert on a tank. Do you reckon it's about time to get her in?
I think so.
Hurry up, GTR.
Okay. Sorry, Brobot. I don't mean to upset you. All right, well, guys, let's bring in our guest for episode 10. She is a well-known racer within the HCR community. Currently racing in our first team, believe it or not, and has been doing quite well. I've been keeping an eye on some of her scores and ranging from 36k to 37k in recent team events, which is, especially for the last couple of team events, has been a bloody good effort. A pit crew member and an original Fingersoft GP official. I think she lives in Paris, France. Might have to correct us on that. It might be a outer city and around there. From France, we welcome in the amazing Velkyrin to the AUSNZ podcast. Welcome to the show.
Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome Australia, New Zealand. Thanks for inviting me.
You are absolutely welcome. It's a great honour to have you on the show here with us. And yeah, it's you're finally here, and we're looking forward to getting to know you a bit better and talking to you, Velky. So I've had the pleasure of talking to you now for a couple of months through Discord and our DM conversation, and you sound like a great person, and it's been an honour to have you on the show.
Thanks a lot. Well, about a little correction, I don't actually live in Paris.
Okay, we tell us where you're from.
So I'm indeed from France, and I'm from a city which is located in the east of the country, which is called Strasbourg. So I don't know if anyone knows it. It's kind of small, like 200,000 inhabitants.
Do they have a football team nearby? If they do, then I'll probably know it.
The city does, indeed. The city does.
And are they in League 1 or League 2?
No, they aren't, and I actually don't follow the football world a lot, so
I'll have to do some research myself there, mate. Okay, so Velky, welcome again, and our hosts, say you're welcome to Velky on the show. Eva?
Bonjour, bienvenue sur la podcast.
Thanks. You did it right.
That's my best Italian French.
That's adorable.
I'm your favourite.
Is that right, Velky? Do you love our Brobot?
Yes. It was adorable.
Pete, go for it, mate.
Welcome to the podcast, and our first female to come onto the podcast, which is a pretty big deal.
Thanks.
It's true, yeah, absolutely, and it's an honour to have you, and let's get stuck into it, mate. Alfie, you want to say hello?
Yeah, hello, Val.
Hello.
I would say something in French because I'm learning it at school, but I've literally forgotten every word. So
bonjour, croissant, French fries.
I don't know too much about France. All I know is a few stadiums, a few football teams, and I know the wine's pretty good, so I love French wine. But that's about it, isn't it? That's about it.
Yeah, the wine is technically one of our specialties in France.
Love the French wine.
I drove from Paris to Frankfurt in a rent-a-car in 2014, and driving out of Paris in a rent-a-car was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Once I got on the freeways, the autostrada there, it was great. But getting used to being on the wrong side of a car.
Yes, indeed. You used to drive like left, right?
We drive on the left, but we're in the right hand side of the car. So
Okay.
It didn't help that my ex-wife, who was in the passenger seat, was telling me to go left with her voice and using her right hand to show me which way to go. So Everything went
How funny.
wrong. Everything went wrong that trip.
How funny.
So I stopped listening to what she said, and that got me in trouble.
I blame her
You
there, mate.
to her hands instead.
I know after the third time where she had pointed left and told me to go right, I just stopped listening and watched the hands, and then it was great from there on.
Yep.
It's a bit confusion.
Yes. Well, we won't talk about what happened on the Stelvio Pass.
Oh, it's always been a bit of a bucket list to see France one day, and I still would love to go there. Velky, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you currently do, things like outside the game and everything. So the floor is yours, Velky. Go for it. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So let's begin. I'm Velkyrin. I'm a player of HCR2 from about 5 years now. I began in the early days. Actually, student in civil engineering in France. 22 years old. What can I say more? How did I discover the game? It was actually my brothers made me discover this game. If I actually have to thank someone, it would be my brothers, because without them I wouldn't be here actually.
And does your brother still play?
I don't think they used to during like 2 years maybe, but I don't think they are actually playing right now.
That's probably because you're better than them now.
There are other games such as Brawl Stars and Clash Royale, but not Velkyrin Racing 2 anymore.
How's life over there? Where did you say what was the city called again there, Velky?
Strasbourg.
Strasbourg?
Yes.
I'll have to Google that later on and see where exactly in France that is. But
Is that where the sausage comes from, Straz?
No. I think it's
You're thinking of a German city.
Frankfurt.
Yeah, I was pulling a leg. I know it's German.
To be more accurate, the city is located at the border between France and Germany, at the very east.
Okay, so right on the east on the
Yes.
border between Germany and France.
That's it.
Beautiful. I'd love to go there. That's definitely a bucket list of mine to travel to that part of Europe. Europe in general, to be honest. I've not been to Europe before, so would love to go. And yeah, it's definitely something I would love to do. But give us a bit of a brief history on your HCR2 experience, Velky. So, did you start playing from HCR1?
Originally, yes, I played HCR1 like 7 or 8 years ago, and then I mostly played HCR2. Back in the early days, it was a normal situation. I wasn't really involved in several ways to play, or I don't know, I don't remember exactly. But I would say around 2018 or 19, I think it's 19, I got my first world record with tank.
Yes, you love the tank, and how many? Do you know how many records you currently hold with the tank at the moment? Sorry for putting you on the spot, but
at the moment I don't actually know, but the peak I've reached, so the absolute peak I've reached was about 220 world record at the same time, combining every vehicle in every mode.
222, you said?
220 world records.
220 world records. Now that's just not with the tank. That's with various vehicles as well.
Like tank, racing truck, John buggy, and some other various world records in adventure.
That's incredible.
But
I have 221.
Of course, you do.
Of course he does. Always wants to get one better, mate Robot does. That's really impressive, Velky. Yeah, amazing feat to get that many world records.
I'd be with just one.
Well, yeah.
I must say, how do you keep track of them? They're just, you've got to spend hours following through and making sure you're still on top.
well, how do I keep track? Well, first of all, I record every of my world records since like 1 year, I would say. When I get one, I create a challenge and note down all the tunes I had. So whenever someone beats them, I just go back to what I noted, and I can maybe improve the strategy or change everything.
So when you know that it's been broken, how do you know that someone's broken your record?
I randomly check them.
Okay.
Not every day, but like yes, it's a random check.
You would probably, if you had that many world records, you'd have to have some sort of like spreadsheet or a list of, which track, which vehicle, so forth.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll have to go through and do our little research. But Alf, you can maybe do some research later during the week and see how many you currently hold. But yeah, that's very impressive, mate. So
I remember having a world record in one of the mines with the motocross that lasted 3 hours. I got it.
The karma.
I think it was 3 to 6 hours because I got it at like midnight and went to bed, and I was really happy with myself. And I checked it in the morning, and I was in 6th place already. There was 5 people who'd used the same tune and basically beat me, and I cried for a day.
as you would.
I had a tractor world record that lasted 10 minutes until our very own tractor master Linge beat it. I think I'm now like 16th in the world on it. That was back when Gloomvale Cup first came out.
Was it an adventure one?
No, the time trials one. A Storm of Stumps.
Yeah.
One of I think my oldest world record, which hasn't been beaten yet, is tank in Trial of Fall, so downhill trials, and it's standing for 2 years actually.
Wow, that's very impressive because that's quite a popular track because it's a short track as well.
I am leading by like 1/100th of a second, and if you search the leaderboard, you can still see my old nickname.
We'll have to get a screenshot of that. If Maxi or Just You are listening, log on to the game and get that screenshot posted to the server.
I've already got it.
Oh, beautiful.
Speaking of old names, it's a good transition to maybe speak about my team history throughout the game.
That was going to be literally my next question to ask you, but you beat me to
it. I predicted you.
You saw the future.
Go
for it.
As everyone knows, the team were founded in 2019, if I am right, April. Because I was one of the beta testers at the time, I had the opportunity to found one of the illest teams in the game, which was the Team RN, which stands. It's like an old I would say, how do you say that? Prefix?
A prefix. Yep.
It was one of the prefix I kept from Mario Kart 7. I know it's a bit like kindly, but I didn't care. And this team lasted like for until November of the same year, until I decided to merge with another team to be bigger, which gave the RN, which is on the world record that I hold currently for 2 years. And after that, things were a little bit trickier because for our team, keeping members and keeping growing is always a challenge through good time. Decided to again merge with another team to be even bigger, but things accelerated a bit, and like some decisions were not really well taken. So I abandoned my lead post, so I wasn't the chief of the merge team anymore. And after that, I went in Jedi Phoenix for several months, like 7 or 8 months, I think, from May 2021 to December 2021. I think they may have a team in Division 1, actually.
Okay. They're still going.
Yes, and after that I took my break and then joined AUSNZ.
Which we could not be happier. I was going to say, yeah, that's when you came in, when I started speaking to you and you were on break, I remember. Yeah, you were, and then you were like, yeah, I want to come back and race with you guys, and could not be happier.
I tried to, I wanted actually a little bit of exotism.
Yeah, just like a different type of vibe, like a different community, and make new
Exactly.
friends and things like that, which you have done, by the way. You've made a lot of friends with the community, and you're certainly a part of us now. You're an adopted Aussie, if I may say. But yeah, no, it's great having you on. Firstly, when you joined Team 2, and you certainly, the vibe that you brought to the team and everything like that was amazing. And actually didn't want to let you go. I was actually very sad to see you leave and join Team 1, but you're doing fantastic, Velky, so well done.
Thanks.
That's the reason why I'm in Team 2, because I had to make a compromise.
Pete, we love having you, mate, as always, so not such a bad replacement, I may say.
It's been good to be home. I'm just sorry my scores aren't as good as hers.
A little bit of difference there. But yeah, Velky, yeah, that's pretty good. Some team history there. Were you listening before in our conversation earlier in the episode in regards to the recent team events and what I was talking about? Do you have any comments to say about that?
I was disgusted.
Oh, in what I was saying, or just in regards to the team events?
The team events, not about what you were saying. Don't worry.
That's okay. Good. I'm not in your bad books. All right. Beautiful. Anyway, go ahead.
How I see the event is it needs to be fun, and it's a good transition about how we organize the FSGP, which I will talk a little bit later. If it's not fun, players will hate it. The game is already full of RNG, so if you put track which have a lot of RNG, players will hate it.
That's correct. Yes, and not just that, they get turned away from the game. They're not enjoying playing, and that's the reason why we play the game in the first place, is to enjoy and have fun.
Actually, it is existing for now more than 5 years, and I think like 2022 needs to be the turning point for this game. It needs to be reinvented.
Oh, sorry, just quickly, what do you mean by RNG?
When you cannot get consistent performances.
Okay.
Like, if I had to take an example, look at the new cups and the launchers.
Yeah, the launchers are painful.
It's pretty explicit. It's pretty explicit.
That was what I was talking about earlier in regards to the creation team or the design team who work at Fingersoft. I think there needs to be a vast improvement there. I don't know how many people are in charge of that department, or if it's just one person working, or if it's a team of people. I don't know, but there really needs to be some improvement in the next few weeks, I think. So hopefully they get the community message in regards to people saying, and there's improvement.
Yes, and indeed, public events were an improvement, team events as well, but since team events, I didn't see a lot of changes except the adventure rework in 2021, so last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I could do a better job creating team events.
I bet you can. Absolutely. The last few team events wouldn't surprise me at all, mate, bro. Okay, so Velky, what were we saying before in regards to what would you change specifically? What would you do differently to what's happening at the moment in regards to team events?
In regards to team events, I don't know what would be the future of this mode, but it already feels old, even though it's only like 3 years.
Yeah, they need to come up with some new creations. Hopefully they are working on it, and hopefully not into the distant future.
I'm pretty sure they're working on it, and it's called Hill Climb Racing 3.
From what I saw, like Rhys said that 2022 would be the changing year for the game, so I don't know. I will just wait.
I did see him say that, and it's going to be. He reckons it's going to be an absolute game changer. So we've got to wait and see what happens, I suppose.
Unless we get recalled.
Velky, you're a pit crew member. How long have you been in the pit crew?
I belong to the pit crew group since June 2020.
Excellent, and congratulations on that feat, because getting into the pit crew is a pretty big deal in the game that we play, and it's good that Fingersoft recognises the dedicated players and the players that give back to the community, and you certainly do that. So along with our very own Maury, which is he's a new recipient of the pit crew as well. So let's tell us some of the I mean, you can't really say too much because you signed an agreement and stuff, but just tell us what you can say about the pit crew.
Well, I suppose my question is, what did you do to become pit crew?
What did I do? Well, it's pretty simple, I would say. Riz explained it in a big message, in a big post when a lot of people became pit crew. So originally, back in 2019, I began the translation of the game from English to French. It allowed to get me some goodies directly sent from Fingersoft.
That was in the manual. That was in like a HCR2 manual or something like that. Like a translation from English to French.
Yes, the wiki game is like basically storing all the data from the game, which would be helpful for players.
And you did the whole French side of that, did you?
I began. I haven't worked on the wiki for like 2 years, I would say.
Oh, okay. But you started it off, which is quite impressive because that's a lot of work to go into that. So that's amazing.
And I was the first person to do that.
Wow, there you go.
Person to translate to French or first person to translate full stop?
Both.
Oh, wow.
French was the first other language as English stored on the wiki. And after that came German, Italian, I would say, and Spanish. And then all other foreign languages such as Greek, Polish, etc.
Well, that's very fascinating. No wonder you got put onto pit crew. Started a trend.
That isn't the only thing I've done, and so it's a good transition because a lot of us, I think all of us know the Fingersoft Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, that recent one, you had some really tough challenges.
Actually, the idea didn't come from me. It was from another person called the Diamond, so like Diamond but without a D. And he organized in a very small community with only French people and gathered around 100 people together for like several days and twice.
Yep.
I was like, but why don't we organize it in a bigger scale? And I had a relation with Riz due to my beta tester status. So I talked to him. I presented him the idea of the tournament, and there we go. He agreed, and we organized the first edition during the big quarantine in April 2020.
Yep.
And here we are.
Yeah, the first GP from memory was a lot of fun, and that was some of the challenges from memory were very it was difficult but fun, like quick, like the short tracks especially. I think one of them was Country Road with the motocross, landing boost, and a couple of other parts. I think start boost, wing, something like that. It was a lot of fun. Ever since then, I've loved playing the GP.
And after that, so Diamond, I was like, Riz made us people pit crew. So me, Marie, Saucis, which was already here, Thomas, but not Diamond, who never answered to Riz offer. I'm actually sad about the fact that the original creator of this ID isn't actually in our group, but that's life.
Yeah, fair enough. I was actually thinking of the second GP. Sorry about that. Correct myself, not the first one.
No worries.
Yeah, I just got corrected by our other pit crew member in the server there. Okay, so yeah, just want to tell us a bit more about the GP, and then we'll go on to some questions from us hosts and from the community.
Yeah, all right. So as I said, the GP was originally created in 2019 by Diamond, but was run only at a small scale, so only French people. Then the tournament saw the day in April 2020 with backup from RIS and the FS Dev team. The organization were a little bit a lot messy, if you remember right, but we weren't prepared for everything, and we still managed to run the tournament without a lot of damage. Yes, and as Maury is remembering me, everything was done manually. We didn't have Maurice but to help us.
And it was also run in European time, which made it difficult
Yes.
for other countries around the world to participate.
We couldn't know in advance that the tournament were going to be that famous, so we couldn't predict or even anticipate all the things who could go on.
Absolutely, and a lot's changed since then. So then after that GP, you went on to the second GP.
Then yes, the second GP was organized about 6 months later with Maurice Bott. We recruited him.
A great recruit, might I say about that too. A really good recruit.
Yes,
So good decision.
it's a really good recruit indeed. We were very satisfied about Maurice Bott and Bott. But sorry for the pronunciation, and it really helped us a lot. And the tournament was longer. It was better organized. It was based on themes. We introduced these themes, and that's maybe what Eva wanted me to ask. We for the first GP we wanted to try a bit of everything to see what people liked, what people hated, etc. But on this, from the second GP onwards, we wanted to organize it, to build it around themes. Like it could be an environment, it could be some type of ports, some type of tracks. For example, the first round of the second GP was only based about the good old days. So maximum content was in the game until 2017.
Yeah.
So basically, no jump shocks, no afterburner, no thrusters, no rotator, no truck, etc.
Yeah. Okay. So the vehicles were limited, not the parts that we have these days as well. Yeah.
And yes.
Now I was going to say the GP2, which was the one that I was thinking of, was my favorite because the challenges that were created on that GP was the most fun to play. It was difficult, yes, but they were great challenges.
It was difficult but achievable.
Yeah, not just achievable, but it was fun. It was fun playing them. Like I can't even remember how many gems I wasted. Probably not as much as Eva. I think Eva went for a few gems, so that was on too.
Well, that second GP, I did pretty well in the first round. The second round was all adventure. And it was weird vehicles adventure, and that kind of bombed me out because at that point I was still concentrating on cups and time trials and wasn't really doing a lot with adventure.
That was one of the points that people hated, especially about this semi-final, which was like full of adventure, and during a week we made like challenges, but it was like 30 kilometers in forest, 30 kilometers in beach, etc. And it was the only, I would say, bad point of the tournament. So full of time trial or full adventure, and people like really weren't, I wouldn't say disgusted, but disappointed.
Yeah, fair enough. And now we've just recently finished JP3, which was a couple of months ago, or was late last year, wasn't it? I think it was November last year, was it?
Yep.
The GP was the third GP was organized through November and December 2021. So yes, like about 4 months ago, and in this time we wanted to innovate a little bit more, even though we gathered less people, less than 1,000 for the first round. So we were a bit disappointed about the people's number, but we didn't actually care because we thought these GP were the most the best of all of them. It was organized about a war tour.
Yep.
We went through several locations such as Iceland, the Amazonia forest, Japan, etc. And we organized the tracks, the vehicles, and the parts around these locations, including buffs and nerfs to the vehicle's features and the vehicle's parts.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
We thought it could be innovative, but actually people again disappointed about the fact they couldn't use max parts. We wanted to give a shot because we cannot share what are the tunes, because since it's based on the challenges system, which requires gems to participate. We didn't want to give an advantage to players, but to players who had a lot of gems. But maybe we will do that in the future to help people practice.
I think what you did with lowering the tunes on the parts and the tunes on the car was amazing. I think it was the best thing you ever did.
Thanks.
And I know lots of people complained, but I think it was the best thing you ever did because it made everybody have a disadvantage. Everybody was used to having max jump shot or max landing boost or max tires or max grip.
Yeah, the grip especially on that one.
Everybody had the same tune, and the best thing was we didn't know what it was, so we didn't understand. In our first 10 runs, we had no idea what was missing, so it made us think more about what we were doing and how we were racing, and less about I can get through that because I've got like there was a section on the Racer Glacier with, I can't remember the vehicle, but if you weren't running up that hill, you had not enough grip to get over.
Yeah, the grip was. I remember that stage.
That was wasn't it?
Just enough. So I take my hat off to you. I think that was the best thing you guys ever did for that third GP. It was amazing. I thought it was the fairest way of making everybody.
So yes, about the location. So we had indeed Iceland, where the grip was indeed downgraded to 1, which surprised a lot of people who thought we downgraded the engine, but in fact it was the grip and not the engine.
Yep.
Second run it was in Australia, Uluru.
Yep.
Which I think you guys loved it. So we made a kangaroo round only, but with Bounty we downgraded the suspension level to 1. We were Eva.
Yep. And I think that was the most amazing thing you did, because it made everybody a bit newbie behind it. Do you know what I mean?
And my favorite turn was a tank kangaroo, because like suspension 1 with tank, it's nightmare. It's really a nightmare.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I don't know.
Then we went to the Everglades National Park in the USA, Blackwater Bog. About the environment. Quarterfinale it was Marinas Trench in the Pacific Ocean with the reef. Semi-final it was the mythical gold cities in Brazil, so Amazonia.
I didn't get that far, so I wouldn't have a clue.
Yes, and it was like the environment were forest in Gloomvale. And for the final, the grand final, it was Tokyo Tower and the Mount Fuji in Japan, which combined city and mountain.
So there you go, and of course the winner from GP3 was none other than Zorro himself.
Cleaning the house.
Yep.
Cleaning everybody's.
And in your view, Velky, this is one of my questions, by the way. Who is, in your view, the best player currently in the world in all aspects of the game?
I wouldn't choose player for being the best, because we all have different abilities in the game. People can be focused in adventure, team events, public events, time trial, or can be polyvalent. So for me, there is no best player.
Hey, that's a fair answer. I get what you're saying.
People will consider best player regardless only about time attacks or adventure or the amount of world records currently standing by one player, which actually would be me. Or I would have been the best player in the past if only the number of world records were counted. But no, there is not best player for me.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. That's an interesting answer.
I mean, the Fingers of Grand Prix could determine a best player, but it's a particular tournament. It's made for being the most maybe polyvalent player. So I wouldn't talk about best player, but more polyvalent player. And in that case, well, Zoro is a good representation of this.
Okay. Good answer. Great answer.
If I'm allowed to maybe give a honorable mention, it would be Can Into Space.
Can Into Space. Yes, he's always been a favorite of mine as well.
Which is personally my favorite player, and I love watching him doing all crazy stuff like such as wheelies mainly, or I had the opportunity to race against him in the PEC tournament, so the Public Event Conqueror, if you maybe heard about it.
Yes.
Yes, it's fun. The Polish community is incredible, really.
He is a freak of the game. His skill set is out of this world. I've seen him do some things that I didn't think it could be done, and he's done them. If anybody can do a wheelie on a mono, he can do it.
So yes, Can Into Space. If you hear me, know that you're my inspiration, really.
I don't know if he listens to the podcast, but I'll send him a link anyway, or you can send him a link if you do talk to him, Velky. He's a great player, isn't he? Yep.
I can wheelie the mono.
If there's anybody that can wheelie the mono, mate Bro can do it himself, absolutely. Might need to put some thrusters.
No thumbs.
What, go for it, Alfie?
Wheeling the mono with no thumbs, it's impossible.
It's cool. It's impossible.
Wheeling the mono full stop is impossible.
Oh, you're talking about my record again. If I can maybe disgust you, I think I did it with thrusters level 3.
What now? Is that your take one on Trial 4?
Yes.
Okay, there you go, listeners. If you want to give that a crack, there's a couple of hints for you. Go for it.
Because back in 2020, I didn't have max thrusters for tank. I only maxed them a year ago.
So was it start boost, thrusters, and landing boost?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I tried.
And maybe I will try to do a sub 10 one day, but I don't know.
I'm about 0.4 off, so your record's safe.
I'm actually not scared of you, but more of maybe such as players, such as
Me.
what do we have?
Definitely me.
Like there are Brill, there are Alex, there's LO2, and yes, it's they're interesting players. Like you only have the top 50 is within less than 200 milliseconds.
Yep.
I
I had a long-standing record on the Monster.
Yes, that's that desert stage you got
In the
that
desert
world record.
stage.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
Yeah, in the desert stage, and that only fell probably about 3-4 months ago.
Oh, did it fall? I didn't know you lost it.
Yeah, 12.026 or something. But and that was a lucky bounce.
Yeah. Guys, do you have any questions for Velky before we move on to some community questions?
Oh shit, easy. I'm being questioned. No.
My question: how did you come up with the name Velkyrin?
Yes. It was one of Tulu's questions, I think. So my first name wasn't Velkyrin, it was Omega, because it was something I kept from an old game, and I just stick on it to it. And in 2019, I wanted something more personal, more that really suits to me. Velkyrin comes from Valkyrie, from the Nordic mythology, and I just changed 2 letters. Yes, I turned the A into an E and the E into an N.
Yep.
So is it pronounced Velkyrin, or is it how you say
Well,
Velkyrie?
No, Velkyrin. The English pronunciation is actually good, but if we say it in French, it would be Velkyrin.
Velkyrin.
Okay.
Yes, but never mind. Stick it to English because I know that for you, English native speakers, speaking strong R's is a bit difficult.
Yeah, us Aussies can't really perform many accents, to be honest, but we give it a go anyway.
Some of it have enough trouble pronouncing our own words.
For those who are confused, Velkyrin is indeed the female character that I created. So yes, a bunny girl.
Yeah. So if anyone watches Marvel movies and Thor, you will see the Velkyrin in that.
Very good. Eva, go for it.
The original question that I had has been mostly answered in the conversation just before, so I figured I'd go off topic and just say, is there anything that you'd want if you could travel out of Europe at the moment? Would you want to come to Australia?
Actually, it would be difficult because the next destination I'm going to is Germany for my studies. But Australia and or New Zealand is one of my projects in the future as well. If I have the opportunity to come there, I will gladly come to, like, maybe do a road trip through the country, visiting famous places such as Uluru, the Pink Lake, maybe
Great Barrier Reef.
Maybe try the Kosciuszko Mount in Australia or Wellington.
You got to go to the Great Barrier Reef, mate.
Maybe. I don't think. I don't know the actual situation about that. If it's open to tourism or not.
I was actually at the Pink Lake only a week ago.
Oh wow, there you go.
Still.
Okay.
So I'm just sharing a photo.
Oh, good.
And yes, maybe doing like some mountain bike in Australia would be really fun. Like to come with a car and a bike and travel during like month. I don't know, 3 or 4 months. It's one of my projects, and maybe I will be able to realize it, or maybe not. We'll see.
Just like my dream is to visit France one day, or Paris in general. I'd love to go there. So, vice versa. So we're on this.
We'd love to have you.
I think you could crash at Eva's place, mate. He's already putting you up for a couple of days.
I've promised to pick up Tessa and take her to the Great Ocean Road because she wants to see the Great Ocean Road.
Yeah, the Great Ocean Road is a must. That's a beautiful scenic drive. Duffy, did you have a question for Velky?
No, I'll just ask one from the community. If we're doing that now.
Go for it. Yeah.
Are you scared? Are you scared of me?
No.
Yeah, go for it, Alfie.
I have a question from Reju, which is, what's your favorite bird?
So I'm sorry to disappoint you or read you, but I'm not into birds at all.
Not into birds? Okay.
I'm now offended.
Alpha is a big bird watcher, so he loves his birds.
I am offended. How funny.
Now, would you happen to know any native birds from France at all by any chance? Just going on to that question? Or you wouldn't know?
I don't have any idea.
Okay, well, maybe we can do some research, Alfie, later, and you can tell Velky some French native birds.
Surely they've got bin chickens over there too.
I don't think so.
Go for it, Pete.
I've got one from Mad Max. How many times have you wanted to throw your phone?
I don't think I've ever considered to throw my phone a single time. I don't think so.
Okay, so
Really?
have you ever rage quit? And just going on that question, have you ever rage quit and got so angry that you just wanted to just put your phone down and never play again?
No, I mean I was maybe angry about when I attempt a roller code and it just doesn't go the way I want, or in team events or public event. But actually, I never rage quitted HCR2.
I can't remember. I don't know how many times I've done it, to be honest. Lost count.
Further on to that question, have you ever just spent heaps and heaps of special tickets trying to get that special score?
Are you asking me, did I use special tickets?
Do you use special tickets? Yeah, that'll do.
Okay. Well, actually, I have like about 100 tickets, and I'm trying to stay at about this number. So sometimes I do use them, sometimes I don't. It depends.
Wow.
If it's like maybe an easy high score, like for example, an easy 37k or an easy 38k, which I can get consistently, I won't use any tickets. But if it's a bit trickier, like for example in the previous team event, about the track 2 or track 4, which are maybe the most trickier tracks for me, maybe yes, I can use it. I can use one.
So when you say EV 36k, 37k, that's not normal.
Well, it depends. In my garage,
You must be very
my garage isn't maxed yet. So, for example, when you combine a type of track that I hate with a vehicle where I don't have a lot of parts, so for example, CCEV, rotator, or even the hot rod, it's no. It's a nope. So yes, when I get like some trucks with tank, buggy, racing truck, monster truck, or even diesel, sometimes it is an ED 30, 37, even 39.
There you go.
Yep.
I remember reaching 40k, but only once.
That's
Congratulations. That's a great effort. I could only dream of doing that.
But it was like maybe 1 year ago. But I can say that I actually reached 40k once.
Yeah, that's more than what a lot of people can say.
So was that you reached 40k on a 5-track event?
No, 4.
I'm just joking. I know.
Don't trick me, you fool.
Can't help it. I got a question from SP Jane, which is in Sweden HCR2 team, who's a member of our community. Really lovely person. Also plays in our daily competition as well. Why have you not joined Tank Wars? Which is a very interesting question.
Not interested.
Not interested. Okay, so you just don't want the time trial aspect of the game, or you just don't want to play in general.
If I can, I don't know what's the expression in English. Let me search a bit. Yes, I'm a person who likes to go it alone.
So you don't want to play like competition style wise with other competitors. Is that right?
If I can quote Zoro, because we don't talk between each other anymore, because it's one of the, without adding drama to the podcast, it's one of the person I dislike the most actually. But we used to talk between each other before, and he told me, you don't need a clan, you don't need to join a clan or something like that, because you're a one-man clan.
I get what you're saying. I understand. Yeah. Okay.
Like all this clan, like SN, NK, RS, etc. He really told me your clan, you alone are a clan. So
yeah, I'm not into the whole clans business either, to be honest. I just like my community with AUSNZ, but the whole clans thing I'm not interested in either as well. Yeah.
To get back on the question, I actually have a server which is called Health Tanks, but it never grew up, and I'm consider to abandon it maybe.
Okay, all right, fair enough. We must,
even though Jan joined it recently, but I'm sorry, Jan, but it's I may abandon this server one day.
Would you be interested in maybe come and racing our daily competition one day, which is all types of different vehicles, loads of fun, and we don't take it too seriously?
No, really.
Okay, no problem. That's fair enough.
I like to play the game the way I want, and maybe don't follow the some cliche like you need to join a clan, you need to do daily competitions. No, I'm not into that, and that's maybe why I haven't maxed my garage yet, because in more than 5 years, because I'm not interested in playing cups actually, or I mean multiplayer, but only just things I like.
Like focusing on team events and things like that.
Team events and world records.
Team events and world records. Yep. Okay, that's fair enough. No judgment on this side.
I'm a hunter. I'm angry. I'm hungry.
You're hungry for success.
You could join my team. I'm going to start a team and call it CBF.
What?
CBF. CBF is I can't be. You know what the last word is. Starts with an F.
Oh,
Yes.
you mean can't be.
That's the one. We'll beep that
Okay.
out.
Oh, please, no.
No. Velky is loving racing with AUSNZ at the moment. You enjoying your time?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm very satisfied with my situation, with my current situation.
We're more of a community-based team, and it's more like a friendly banter, like a team. We all come together of all different walks of life, and it's more of a community-based team. We're not really
That's-
clanned, as you would say.
But that is the reason why I chose you.
Exactly. Fair enough too. Yeah.
This is a question from Kryptonite. Shout out to Kryptonite. You took a break from the game recently. What is your advice to players who feel burnout or need to focus on life and want a break from HCR2?
Tough one, really tough one. Indeed, I took a 1 month full break from the game. Well, there's two scenarios. If you decide to never play the game again, just uninstall it and do something else. But in my case, which was to be back Sunday, the way I did it is to not uninstall the game, to keep it in like a small pieces of my memory, of my brain. But with that way, you think a little bit to the game, but not too much, and it's like some sort of balance between the life and the game which is posed. So if you plan to be back on the game one day, but if you install it, you will think to the game way more than if you don't uninstall it.
You make a very good point about balance. I think that's the right word on saying that, because balance is a very, very important part of work, life, and play. Because you don't want to get burnt out too quickly, and balancing it will stop that from happening.
There are moments for playing, there are moments for working, and there are moments for us, for the person in question. So, and I was like really too bothered by the game, or maybe not in a condition to play efficiently and to play calmly. So that's why I stopped the game for 1 month.
Fair enough. Good question, by the way, from Kryptonite. So big shout out to him.
Yes, I agree. It was actually
When you say you plan to not play for a month, did you give yourself a date to start up again, or was it just you woke up one morning and said, "Okay, I want to play"?
Sorry, but I'm not sure to understand your question.
I'll ask the question again. So you said you had a month off. Did you plan to have a month off, or did you wake up one morning and say, "Okay, it's been long enough. I want to play again"?
No, it was planned because I noticed that my behavior towards the community and especially the other pit crew and mods members were degrading itself. Like, it was getting worse and worse every day, and I had to stop one day because I couldn't continue with that state of mind.
Yeah,
That's fair.
makes sense.
Okay.
And it was like one rock for two hits, as we say in France. Faire d'une pierre deux coups. I was really busy with my own university life, and I had to. I didn't have the time to play at all, so it was a good time for me to take a break.
Excellent.
Fair enough. Oh, I've got a question from Just Chill, who's a popular figure in the AUSNZ community, and shout out to Just Chill. If you could choose between racing truck or tank in adventure or time trials, what would you choose and why?
Well, you're not making things easy, are you? Aren't you?
That's Just Chill, mate. You can blame him that one.
Oh shit.
That's easy for me, racing truck.
So, you should know that both racing truck and tank are particular vehicles. They are more heterogeneous than you think. Actually, if I had to choose, I would choose racing truck for adventure and tank for time trials. Why? Racing truck for adventure because its height is a little bit smaller than tank, so you can fit in more spaces than the tank can, and also it's maybe satisfying to have some high speed in such tracks, in such adventures like beach or even Red Bucket Reef.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's fair enough.
About tank for time trials, I chose it because it's clearly more polyvalent than truck. It doesn't beat truck every time, but it's really more polyvalent because of the thrusters and the air drag that the truck have, which is yes, the thrusters, for example, for the truck are clearly not made for this vehicle, but sometimes you have to use it. Good conclusion, I think.
So your answer was racing truck.
Yes, racing truck for adventure mainly, and tank for time trials mainly.
Okay.
But of course, I like to play adventure with tank only or specifically, and it would be and vice versa for time trials for truck. If I had to name maybe some tracks for racing truck and time trials, it would be especially the 1 kilometers map, which are a nightmare for the tank, but much satisfying for the truck.
Yeah. I've got a question from Aiden. What are your favorite tuning parts to use on the tank and the racing truck?
So, are you trying to extract my secrets from my mind? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
In that case, it's spin boost.
I'm just kidding. So, about the tank, because this is my main vehicle, my favorite setup is overcharged turbo, wings, and fuel boost. And I chose it because it is used in only one track, which is Paradise Bay. It's hard to make it through, but it's so satisfying when you get all the speed with the turbo and the fuel boost. So yes, it's not the fastest time ever reached with a tank in a 1 kilometer map, which is actually Forgotten Highway by Linus 31.3, but the turbo is technically, yes, one of my favorite parts in the entire game.
So you don't like landing boost for the tank?
I mean, I do. It's actually one of the most powerful parts for the tank, but turbo is way more satisfying.
Okay.
Turbo has a real timing thing, because if
it needs timing, it needs skills, but it's so satisfying when you get it right.
Yeah, when you get it right. Like even with tractor, with the turbo on the tractor, if you get turbo tractor in the right spot at the right place, it will shoot you miles into the air.
Tractor, supercar,
tractor, supercar,
even Dune buggy,
Yep, but it's all about timing. It's all about getting off the gas, getting back on the gas as quickly as you can.
And if I maybe can extend the question about the most used setups for the tank, it's currently thrusters, wings, and landing boost, which requires less skill, but some tiny tricks can make the difference, and that's why it can make you having a lead by maybe 1 or 200 milliseconds against your opponents.
Just going on about the overcharged turbo, Cthulhu did say last week that the tank is the strongest and most powerful overcharged turbo in the game.
I disagree. Yeah. No, it's not the most powerful turbo because...
Okay, so you disagree with that one. Is it the tank then?
No, for me it's the supercar.
It's the supercar. Right, okay. We might have to do some experimentation with that.
I have in mind one record for supercar that was made by PR Ashtar in Sandy Swimshoot, if I am right. And the replay is still available, but you should take a look. The record is just insane. Like the tractor, it's a bit random, but the supercar is way more efficient. Yes, that's it. That's the track. 12.326.
Okay, you and Cthulhu are going to have some conversations later on.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
Yeah, it's interesting
So-
when you were saying that about that last week, but supercar, yeah, definitely is very powerful.
And about the, well, maybe rotator, but what? No. Supercar is definitely powerful, more powerful. The truck, my most favorite setup is afterburner, wings, and landing boost, because you can get so much speed. Like it's
Afterburner, wings,
Wing,
and landing boost.
just take a look at it's used in several tracks, but the most famous one is obviously Forgotten Highway.
That's a great track, isn't it?
When I haven't the record back then was like 35 seconds. I destroyed the record by 6 seconds.
Wow, that's
That's with
incredible.
the monster or with the.
When I made it, I literally had 29.4 time or about that, and the second was like 6 seconds behind me.
That's with which vehicle? The tank.
racing truck.
No, the truck. The setup for the tank is way less efficient.
Yeah, the monster
Because
truck
the-
really flies, doesn't it? It's a
a
very
racing truck. It was a racing truck, not the monster truck.
Oh, the racing truck. Yeah. Okay, the racing truck. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, it was.
Come on, GTR, get with it.
And for the most used setup with the truck, well, actually I couldn't. Even if I'm very experienced with that vehicle, I couldn't actually say one because they're very different. You have like wheelie afterburner wings, you have turbo afterburners coin boost, you have some setups with thrusters. So in my mind, you don't have a most used setup with the truck because you can technically use all the parts except, of course, flip boost.
Okay, so I got one from Cap A, who's a bit of a regular in the Fingersoft server. If you know Cap A.
No, I actually don't. I don't know a lot of people. I mean, except the most active one, but Cape, no.
Okay, he's a regular in the Fingersoft server and PMs me every now and then. So he says your profile on your About Me, in your profile it says that you like tanks and trucks. He asks, why don't you talk about using the monster truck and the diesel?
Because they aren't massive enough.
Your go-to vehicle when you play cups. What's your preference? Where do you go for cup racing when you do play?
Tank.
And you just purely tank only, or you mix it up every now and then, or just tank?
Only tank.
I think she's tanking, actually.
Yeah. I only say that because various stages are better vehicles for, other stages. Some tracks are very difficult with the tank, but I guess not to you because you're an expert on the vehicle. But for other players, the normal players like me, I would struggle.
It will surprise you, but sometimes I skip some cups because it's a waste of time, and I know I will lose to rallies and everything. So, but in other cups where thrusters are dominant, you just crush everyone.
Yep. Yeah, very true. Very, very true.
Do you mean you just don't participate and take the loss, or what do you mean by that?
Yes, if I have a chance, I may maybe get second place, but not first because, like, for example, in the mines or in the reef environment, the tank is clearly disadvantageous.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And if I know only by seeing my opponents that I won't have a chance, I just skip it.
Yeah. Okay.
And-
Yeah. Just skip it, and it goes on to a new cup.
Yes, an easier one.
I'm going to ask the Brobot question. It says, my cousin says you are really nice. Do you feel the same about HCR2 Daily Bot, or as known in the Fingersoft server, Fingersoft GP Bot?
What when it's when my cousin is in the question, who is he referring to?
So Brobot's cousin is the Daily Bot, is the Fingersoft GP Bot, and it says you are really nice. But do you feel the same way about the Fingersoft GP bot?
Well, how can I answer no to that?
You can answer whatever you like.
Just remember that Brobot has no thumbs.
And he has no thumbs, and he's very easily offended.
Is it a trap or something?
No, it's not a trap.
So, I mean, about the daily bot, I don't have any feelings, if it's the right way to say it, because I never had a chance to experience events with that. But about the FSGP bot, how can I answer no to that? Because it really made us our lives easier with Mahi, Sosis, Maurice, etc. Even Razor.
Oh yeah, Razor. Big shout out to Razor.
Yes.
Yeah, Maury's bot came from our daily server. So our daily server was one of the first to use it, and that's where it originally began.
Oh, I think I remember. I am still in Maurice servers, aren't I?
I'm not too sure, but I think in Maury's server, which is the HCR2 bot server.
Yes, I am.
So.
I am in.
Yeah,
Daily challenge events, FS test, HCR2, and yes, that's him.
Yeah, so that's where the original bot came from. So, and by the way, the daily bot is the Fingersoft GP bot. They're the same. Just FYI.
Okay.
All right, Eva, do you have any other questions for Velky?
No, I'm quite good.
Pete?
Yep, yeah, I've got one from Rex Zoo, if I pronounced that correctly.
Oh dear, this is going to be great. I know the question's coming.
What is your favourite type of cheese and why?
Oh, why does he ask you these ones every single episode? I don't know. My goodness.
Maybe because there's a member called Swiss cheese.
I don't know if it's really related to Swiss cheese. I just think he just asks cheese questions.
Might be cheezels.
So about the question, my favorite, I wouldn't say type of cheese, but cheese in itself is the Comté. So CONTE, which is produced in a specific region of France. So a little bit to the south than where I actually live. Its particularity is that it can stay in the not the caves, but like some sort of specific buildings to give it some taste and some flavor. And when it stays long enough, like so after I would say 18 months or 24 months, crystals of salt crystals begin to appear, and it gives a really nice taste, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, beautiful.
So what was the name of it again?
A Comté, like this.
Conte.
Like COMTE.
Okay, Conte. There you go, Rexu. That's her favourite type of cheese.
I have a member of my family which lives in the region, and each time I go visit him, it's always a pleasure to grab some cheese from this region, because I absolutely love this food.
Beautiful. All right, guys. I reckon we can probably start wrapping things up now. Usually this time, Velky, what we do is want to give you a chance to make any shout outs to any players in the HCR2 community, anybody you want to say hello to. Now is the chance to do that, my friend. So go ahead, say your shout outs to anybody you would like to shout out to.
Well, I think I've said it a little bit before, but my shoutouts go definitely to Canning to Space.
Canning to Space. You're gonna have to give him the link to this podcast, mate, because
yes,
introduce him to our little show and tell him to start listening in.
Yes, I will do that for sure.
Canning to Space. Anybody else you want to say hello to? Any previous members from your previous teams, or anybody in general? Anybody in the Fingersoft server, or?
If I have to I wouldn't say select, but give a shout out to another person, it would be Raven.
Raven is okay. Yes. Where's Raven from?
Raven is from Washington State, and she was one of Fingersoft mods like some months ago. I had a chance to discuss a lot with her, and it's always a pleasure. Yes, great state of mind, great mentality, and also the first person to ever reach Canyoneer.
First person to reach Kenya was Raven.
Yes.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that. Okay, well, let's start saying goodbyes. Just want to thank you once again, Velky, for coming onto our podcast. We really do appreciate your time that you've given us today, and I really hope the listeners enjoy, getting to know you a bit better and listening to the show. So, thank you very much for coming on, and yeah, we greatly appreciate your time that you've given us today.
I too. I really appreciated this podcast and the chance to get in.
And don't you ever leave AUSNZ. We're keeping you for life now, okay? You're not going to any other team.
I'm imprisoned. No.
we're locking you
Let
up
me
and we're throwing away the key. You're not escaping. No, it's a pleasure to have you a part of our community, and we'll be sure to talk to you soon. Thanks again, guys, and Pete, Eva, and Alpha, who's left us earlier. Thanks again for another great episode.
Been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Velky. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Appreciate
Beautiful. Just before we go, our next guest next week coming on the show is another pit crew member, and that pit crew member is Daspo, who is coming on the show to talk about a couple of things that's HCR2 related and personal related. So we can't wait to talk to Daspo. We've organised this for a while now, and we'll speak to him in 2 weeks. 2 weeks after that, which will be the 12th episode, I'll leave a couple of clues. The person is not an overseas player and is a popular figure in the AUSNZ community, has multiple accounts. I don't really know any other clues. That's probably about it. Have a guess who it's going to be. It's an AUSNZ, quite popular AUSNZ member, and we will have that person in 4 weeks from now. Thanks again, lads. Velky, pleasure. Pete, Eva, and Alfie, and mate Brockbro, of course. I can't really forget you. Until 2 weeks, we'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.